Hello everybody, and welcome to another video of mine, and this is on Access Football 2023, and there is Access Football 2024. It seems like they make a yearly game of what I've seen on Steam, that they have a game as far back as Access Football 2015, and I got this game of 2023 when I first saw it, and wanted a different feel for a football game besides, your usual Madden and, having an experience with kind of a different creator of making a game that I saw was, somewhat similar to Madden. Like, overall, you got the football aspect of it, you got franchise, you can coach the team, play an exhibition match, and all that other fun jazz, and also do some trading and everything else. And just kind of getting a feel for it, and it played it a few times, and it seems, quite a bit of fun. It's a little bit different, obviously, with the mechanics of the game and everything else. Like, you can't just hit triangle and go for the jump interception type thing right away. There's some things that I still have to learn about it, but overall, in general, it is a fun game to play with. And with the upgrades of 2024, there are, you have natural pocket feel for the quarterback in the pocket. You have a more aggressive defensive AI. And then you can see on the scoreboards while in the game of if you're gaining or losing yards, how much were the yards in the game, or how much yards you've gained in that play overall. Like, if you gained 1 yard, it'll say +1 underneath the team that has the ball. And then also, it will show transactions. So whether you've traded for a player, or you've signed a player, released a player, it's going to show each transaction each team has made. But it doesn't have the trading within the draft, I don't believe. I think they are going to work on that. It seems like they should, because within the video of what I saw on their Steam page, it didn't have any change on that. The only thing, is kind of the downfall within this game is that in Madden, you can trade during the draft and, either trade down to get draft picks in the future, or trade down and, get a player or whatnot. This you can trade, but you can only trade throughout the season. As soon as you get to the off season and sign free agency, you can't trade at all, which is kind of a bummer. But it kind of has a little bit of realism that for a period of time you can't trade. And I've been kind of using the midway through a season is the trade line deadline point. I haven't tried to trade in the second half, and if I could trade in the second half, well, then it's semi-realistic, because it has the trading ability to do it, but overall in general, you shouldn't be able to trade in the second half because there's a trade deadline. And I saw that you can change the league size, so you can have 8 teams to 32, 36 teams within a league. And this what has kind of stayed the same is the tier system of the European tier system. The randomized, the unlimited funds, those kind of functions have stayed the same. And the most important, you can create your own playbooks. So in this game, you have default playbooks like the single back, West Coast, air raid, and the generalization playbooks that you have certain plays that you can play within that playbook, because that's what best scheme fits those playbooks. In 2024, they allow you to make your own playbook and add whatever plays they have within the game to set up your own playbook on how you want to beat your opponent, so to speak. So overall, in general, I'm going to introduce the teams, and as you can see, some of the teams have, the city where they're from, and just kind of visualize that it is replacing the actual NFL team of what I've created. So, like, for example, Chicago Cougars is replacing Chicago Bears, and so on and so forth. So I'm just going to kind of introducing the teams. I know in the last video I kind of implemented some of the teams of replacing them in the 5-year rebuild to see if I can do it. But this is all new, brand new 32 teams that I am starting the franchise. And what was also nice about this game is that you can look in the edit of creating the team roster and you can see like the average age. And the average age between these teams is the highest it was 25, and the lowest was like 23, or like close to like 23 and a half ish. So it's a pretty young age group within these teams. Obviously, there's going to be some older guys that are 30, 31, 32, and there's going to be young guys that are just as young as 21, 22 that can enter the draft and everything else. So I'm going to introduce the teams again, and because we just started with the Chicago Cougars and replaced the Chicago Bears, I'm just going to go down the line. So we got the Detroit Packs, we got my team, the Wisconsin War Pigs, the Minnesota Flying Ducks, Atlanta Stingers. I know in the last video it was Atlanta. I have fixed it so it doesn't have the N in between the A and the N, A and the T. So Atlanta Stingers, New Orleans Tidal Waves, the Tampa Bay Turkeys, Carolina Wolves, the Philadelphia Eagles, the Washington Patriots, the New York Torches, San Antonio Soldiers. Now, you may think there's no Dallas Cowboys within that division. San Antonio is the replace of Dallas Cowboys. So that is kind of, creating a team in Texas, and they moved to San Antonio. They have a lot of money. They can build a new stadium. They can, move the roster. So they decided to get away from Dallas and go to San Antonio. We got Arizona Adventuremen, San Francisco Gladiators, Seattle Travelers, the Los Angeles Battle Rams, and that includes the national side. I was going to say the North American side, but it's the national side of this football league. And then we have the American League. We got our Baltimore Sailors, the Pittsburgh Ship Stealers, the Cleveland Warthogs, the Cincinnati Bandits, the Houston Bull Riders, the Indianapolis Sharks, the Jacksonville Snapping Turtles, the Tennessee Fighting Frogs, the Boston Businessmen, the New York Mammoths, Miami Spears, the Buffalo Bison, the Denver Lumberjacks, the Kansas City Storm Chasers, the Las Vegas Battlemen, and the Los Angeles Thunderstorms. So this is your American side within this football league. And now if you guys have any ideas to call this football league, put it down in the comments down below. I have been thinking, and I really can't think of a creative one for the moment as I'm creating this video. But in the near future, this league will have a name, and we will implement it within the series. And like I mentioned, I am controlling the Wisconsin War Pigs. And we will start the franchise, and we are the Wisconsin War Pigs, and our first week is Detroit. Now, We can go to personnel. We can see who's in the free agency, the depth chart, expiring contracts, the team, our top trading aspects. Our team morale right now is a 60. We can go to the front office and kind of looking at our coaching staff, our team draft guide, our revenue, our expenses and everything, and what we're going to be, making or losing, so to speak, because right now we are negative $262 million, almost $263 million. And then we got our normal practice strategy, our facilities, we can upgrade them. We got scouting points. To get into this, we are going to go in our coaching staff. Look who we have. We are not going to change any of our actual coaching staff. I am going to go to the scouts right away and see if any of them have badges. And if they don't, but they do have a lot of remaining years left, we can, kind of hire and look at the options on who has a badge and who doesn't, and kind of fit that to what we can look at. Like, this guy has the Northeast roots, and so evaluation, he's a B overall in general, and he's a B on defense, so he's probably more of a evaluation on a B, so to speak, on a defense, so to speak, and he is good for the East as a scout. So we can, because none of these guys on what we have has any badges. So this is what I'm going to do overall within this first video of introducing, and we're going to release him. We have to pay out $1 million. We're going to get refunded. So overall in general, we're losing $630K off of him, because we do have to pay out, which is the remainder of this. Releasing him will refund 50% of their salary for this year, but also require 30% payout for each year remaining on the contract. He's got a 4-year contract, and what is his contract? It's not 900, but we could probably look. Okay, so his salary is $900K, and it's for 4 years. So we are going to release him and lose that $1 million. We're gonna get that coach. We're gonna hire a new one, find him, which we did, Northeast, offer him a contract. We're gonna give him 1.1. How many years can we give you? Okay, we're gonna do $2 million. Maybe not that much. 1.5. But it says overall he's a C. Development? But he does have Northeast roots, so he will help in that region because he does have that badge. And we are going to offer the contract. So we got him for $1.5 million for 10 years. He's got the 10. Oh, he's a B+. All right. So I think it's because he was a head coach and everything else. So we got him for a 10 plus 10 boost to evaluation with the Northeast. And he is the Northeast scout. So we got a plus off of that. We can go here. Then when it comes to scouting, Northeast, tight end, punter, lineman. Lineman for sure. I don't know about tight end. We were going to change his focus. So we'll do lineman. What is it? Linebacker. We'll do that for right now. We're going to kind of see what is there any way. So best overall right now is a QB. Oh, that's for QBs. Okay, so team summary. Team guide. What is it kind of telling us of what we need? We need a punter, a kicker, a running back, and then it says D-line, wide receiver, D-line. Yeah, D-line twice. Okay. It has Gregory Boone as the draftee for Maurice Waterberg because he's 28. And then wide receiver 21 for 21. Because he's an A+ estimated. Okay. So, we are going to, because he has QB, D-line, wide receiver. He's got running backs, linebackers, QB. He's got wide receiver, D-back. And so we're going to need a punter. O-lineman for sure. And we'll do O-line and D-line, because it seems like O-line, D-line could be a very good fit. And then we'll hit scout player. He's a C+. Alright. And I got him. Seems like D lineman. Scout him. A+. Okay. Then we got this linebacker. We're going to scout him. He's a C. Alright. So then we got a wide receiver. Scout him. And he's a C. Alright. So we used all our points up. National Scouting Report. Cost of a report, $2 million. We're going to do that. Alright. So punters and kickers are Fs. Okay. So Central literally comes down to O-linemen. West, B running back, A wide receiver. QBs aren't that good. D lineman's good in the West region. And then C for DB when it comes to Northeast and Southeast. And a C for linebackers for Southeast. And C for D-line. Seems like D-lines or Southeast, it's alright. And then there's some good and West. And the Northeast and Central are okay. Good to know. That's what we kind of wanted. Alright, so overall, we're going to meet our coaches now after changing that scout. Sorry, kind of jumping all over the place. Just wanted to get things up and rolling. We're going to stay with this coach for 1 year for this year. Kind of stay with the coaches, the offensive coordinator, the defensive coordinator. He's got a boost on the DBs, special teams coordinator. We're going to kind of keep him, unless if it gets very, very bad, then we'll pay out the contract and try and find someone else. So he's got a 1.5 salary for 3 years. 3 years remaining. He's got 15 years of experience. His offense is a D+, B for evaluation. His defense is a B+, so he's more of a B+ head coach. More defense with the B+. Defensive head coach. Evaluation is a B. Development is a C. Motivation is a C+, and discipline is a B. Now we got our offensive coordinator. Offense for him is a B+. His evaluation is B+, and his development is a B+. So that is good. Kind of helping with development on the offense. He's got 3 years remaining on his contract, and he's getting a 2.4 salary overall within the 3 years. And then he's got D and C for defense and motivation, C+ on the discipline. Our defensive coordinator, as we mentioned, he has a development. That's really good. He's a C overall, $700K for a defensive coordinator for 4 years remaining. He's got D on offense, evaluation B+, A on development, C on defense, motivation, and discipline with a C and a C+. But he's got the boost with the badge of the DB expert, requires a DB coach. So he'd more than likely be a DB coach than a defensive coordinator. Then we got our special teams coordinator that has C, C, C+, D+, C, and A for discipline. Got no badges. He's got 6 years remaining off of a $800K deal for 5 years. For 6 years, I should say, remaining. Position coaches, so he's good for this QB coach as 1+1 boost to all passing attributes on the QB with the QB coach. He's got a D+ for offense, D+ for evaluation, C for development, D+ for defense, C for motivation and discipline. 5 years, $900K on his contract. He's a C+, he's a running back coach. He's got no badges, but he's got B+ for offense, C+ for evaluation, C for development, defense, he's a D+, motivation, he is a C, and a D+ for discipline. He's got 6 years left on his contract. Then we got the receiving coach. He is a C. He's got C's all the way up down to defense with evaluation, development, and offense, and then C+ on discipline and motivation. He's got 5 years left on $800K. Then we got C+ O lineman coach. He's got no badges. He's got 3 years left on his deal. He's C on offense, evaluation a C+, a B+ on development, a D for defense, B and B+ for motivation and discipline. Got 3 years left on $700K. Then we got our D-line coach. He is a B. He's got a D+ on offense, C on evaluation. Development is a C+, defense B+, motivation C+, and discipline is a C. 6 years left on $800K. We got our linebacking coach with D on offense, C+ from evaluation to defense with development, a D+ on motivation, and C on discipline. Then we got our DB coach. He's got no badges. He's got a C+ rating. Offense is a C. Evaluation is a B. D+ on development. Defense is a B. C+ on motivation, and discipline is a D+. He's got 4 years left on his contract and $600K for his salary. And that is the coaches. Then we got our scouts that we kind of looked at. So the first one's got a C+. His evaluation is a B, which is kind of what we need to look at for scouts. $600K in 4 years. That's kind of all we really need to care about when it comes to scouts. We got a B evaluation with a C+. He's got 5 years left on his contract for $500K. For the Central is a B evaluation. Then we got the Southeast scout with the C+. His evaluation is a B. He's got no badge and 4 years on $700K. Then the newly hired scout that has a B+ overall evaluation is a B. The 1.5 million on 10 years, and we got a +10 boost for evaluation of the Northeast routes. And that is it for scouts and coaches. Things may change from the end of this video to the next video, as we will be playing the Detroit Packs. And I will be controlling them, but I will be coaching. So I will be coaching these games and not necessarily playing it, which will be kind of more fun because I'll pick the plays and everything, and then it plays out. So that's how I'm going to be kind of controlling this series. And then we can also watch a game from a different, so this is the team schedule. We can watch a game from, so we could watch like Boston and Miami, Houston, Tennessee. We could like click on this and actually watch the game from start to finish for week 1 and stuff like that. So overall, this is the team schedule. So we got Detroit 1, 2 is San Antonio, 3 is Philadelphia, 4 is Minnesota, 5 is Indianapolis, 6 is Jacksonville. We got Chicago on 7. Then our second round with Detroit is 8. Houston is number 9. Then we got the Tidal Waves is number 10. 11 is the Torches. The Fighting Frogs is number 12. The Travelers, number 13. And then the second round with Minnesota. The second round with Chicago. And then Washington, the last game of the season. So yeah, you can play the game, you can coach the game, you can spectate, or you can simulate it. I'm going to be coaching. I'm not going to be actually controlling the team. I will be coaching. And possibly, if the game will allow, step in on crucial moments, like towards the end of the game, if we have a possible chance of, like, sealing the deal and it's a close game and want to, like, jump into the game, I will do that. But other than that, we're going to be coaching the game from start to finish and see how far we can actually go with this team, with this new league that I've created. And like I mentioned, we can go to the league and we can coach our game, and also watch a different game from the season or the week. So what I'm also going to do is have another video of kind of watching a different team or sets of teams and kind of watch out like how all the teams are doing throughout the season. So you'll have the game that I will be coaching, and you'll have a game of a different team. So like, for example, we choose Boston and Miami and we watch that game. So then Boston and Miami will be kind of checked off, see how they are, matched up together, and just overall as a team, and kind of scratch that off on the list, because when it comes to the next game, we won't choose a game that has Boston or Miami, unless if it comes down to like the last, pairs, that it just ends up being Boston and Miami are the team that they're facing, and kind of do a process of elimination throughout the season to show you guys the different teams once per week in the game. So like week 1, I think I'll do Boston, Miami, so then I'll scratch them off. And then the next week, kind of do a randomize, and it could be like Atlanta and whoever's Atlanta's facing, which they are facing Seattle. So then it'd be Atlanta and Seattle, week 2. And then week 3, that we would have Boston, Miami, Atlanta, and Seattle scratched off. So we wouldn't be able to do the Detroit-Atlanta game. We wouldn't be able to do Seattle-Arizona, Boston and Houston, and then also Miami and Cleveland. Like, those would be the games I'm not saying that we couldn't be able to. Like, we could, and it would scratch off, like, Cleveland or Houston or Detroit or Arizona. But overall, in general, I would like to do like pairs in 2 first to get them scratched off, like 2 bang for your buck, and then start watching like other teams again to cross off other teams at first. So that's kind of the plan for this series. I think it will be fun overall, with the new teams that I've created, and it's going to be the Wisconsin Ward Pigs that I control. So I will, for the next video, maybe do some trading, maybe do some, free agency signing to get the practice squad full and everything else, because we have 51 now million with the contract signing and everything with the new scout available. So try and get that filled up, maybe do some trading, clear some cap space, so that way we could get the bigger stars, as we saw free agency wise. There is A+ Zachary Parson, that he is 31, but he's got A+ speed, A+ catch, A+ awareness, B overall, B, and then fitness, agility A+, fumble is a C, and stuff like that. And kind of looking down the line on see who is kind of like big now, and also could sign that A+ guy and use him as trade asset, like for him too as well. He's 29, sign him, and he's got A+ speed. We could use him for a season or two. Let's see, we can offer him a contract. He wants 3 years, 16.7 mil. We'll bump it up to 16.8, offer him a contract, and he accepts. So we have one guy, linebacker, A+, a 29-year-old, Dominic Butler, that we have just signed. So I will look in free agency, try and get the best talent overall, and now we're down to $34 million. As long as we have 53 on the main roster, that is what the game will allow us to play the game. If we don't have 53, it will say you have less than 53 players, and you will have to, sign people, try to make trades and stuff like that. So we just got our first signee. We just got a new scout. Coaching the games instead of playing them like in person overall, and kind of commentating as the game goes on, and also watching a game from different teams will be going on within the series. So this will be a fun one, that I feel like is going to be a fun one overall, with creating this league from scratch of all these teams with all these different jerseys and everything that I've created for them. And hopefully you'll enjoy it, and have a good one.